Hallå ja! Hi! How are you? Are you okay? I'm just preparing my tea. As one does. I want to show you my flowers. Hold on, I'm gonna pick you up. Ah! Don't get motion sick, please. Okay, let me move this around so that I can see what I'm doing. I got roses on work the other day. I have no idea what these are in English, but I picked these and those yesterday. And I'm so happy. And then I have some, what are those? Spanish peppers? Do you say that in English? Like chili? Maybe? I don't know what you say in English. And yeah, just to show you, I have some orchids as well. And not really anything in here worth showing window wise. Let's see if I can. Ah! Something like that. No, I need to turn around. Okay, hi! Welcome. I'm Maja. You can find me as sjomajlin on Instagram and Ravelry, as well as here on YouTube. Today is Friday the 20th of May. May 20th, I guess. And I am coming to you from Yarn Shop, Sweden. I wish I did. Someone, who was it? Was it Jean? I think it was Jean. Commented and wrote that every time I do my little intro she hears me saying Yarn Shop, Sweden when I am saying Jönköping. So I wish I did. I wish I lived in a yarn shop. Although I to be quite honest, I probably would not like it if people came around, you know, all the time. Anyway, hi! How are ya? I hope everything is good. I am doing pretty okay. Just let me, my computer is on and something just popped up on screen which distracted me, so let me just minimize the windows so nothing happens. It's around. Especially at the beginning of this week, about having a quite stressful week, or at least the start of the week. I did a lot of work at the beginning of this week, and it was quite tough, but it was good. I did a gig on, I believe it was on Tuesday, that might just have been, you know, like the gig of the year. It went so good and I was so pleased and proud afterwards. So that was, that's always nice, you know? Working hard and noticing what it does is always nice. So and then my work week calmed down, settled down, I don't know what words to use, as well, so that's good. Okay, let's see, on Wednesday I was able to leave work earlier than I thought I would. So I went home and I was like, I think I'm gonna go for a run. Which, okay, so pause this week there and let's go back to, well, about 2 years ago. Well, moving, like, well, not necessarily exercising, but at least, you know, going for walks and like moving my body has always been such a perhaps normal part of my life. And well, the summer before last, so almost 2 years ago, I was in like a shape peak, I would say. I ran a lot. I think I did one 15K run that summer, and I did a handful of 12K runs, and I did a whole lot of 10Ks, and I'm not gonna say that those were, you know, no big deal, but I actually was in such a shape that it wasn't really a big deal to run a 10K, and it always compares to it always depends on who or what you are comparing to, sure, but to me that was really a big deal. Anyway, then on someone just ran. Anyway, November before last I got sick. As most of you probably know, if you've been with me for a while. I was home for a month with, well, depression, anxiety. A little bit of, you know, burned out. And I had no energy, I just sat. I think I went for maybe like 2 walks in a month. Instead of like... I probably went for like, I don't know, 10 at least walks a week before that, because I did walk every day, and usually more, not what's the word? Not rarely, just 1 walk a day. Is that what I mean? I think that's what I mean. And by that I mean like, sure, longer walks as well, but at least like, you know, like, I don't know, 30 minutes, a bit longer than just, you know, I'll park at the end of the parking lot and go for walk a little bit longer to get to the store, which is still good to do, but that's not really, by my terms, that's not really going for a walk. And I absolutely couldn't do that. Something's going on outside my windows. I absolutely could not do that 2 years ago, or in that winter, because I had absolutely no energy. So about a year ago, I really tried getting back into that routine of actually walking. And I set a challenge for myself to do. It was about 10 weeks before my birthday, so I decided that I would take 100 walks before my birthday, so that was about 10 walks a week for 10 weeks. And I did, I managed. What's going on? People are running. I don't know. I did that, but then I just didn't get into the rhythm, the groove. I don't know. I went for a few runs as well last summer-ish, because it's, I don't know, it's easier in summertime. But I never really got into it. And then fall came last fall, and it was sort of rough. And as you might know, if you've been with me for a while, in January of this year, I went to my doctor again, or I requested to see her again, and we raised my dosage of medicine. So this winter wasn't really great for me either. But anyway, so I've been for a handful, like maybe 3 runs this season. Shortish, sweet runs, like 2 or 3 kilometers. So for me to feel like on Wednesday, as I said, when I came home from work, I was like, let's go for a run. That was a pretty unusual thing for me right now, but it's so, I mean, it felt a bit like my old self, you know. So I went for a run, I crushed the first 2 kilometers, and then I was like, I'm going for a third. And then as I passed the 3 kilometer mark, I have a GPS watch that buzzes on every kilometer, so that I know, I can read it as well to know what distance I've ran. So when I passed the 3 kilometer, I was like, it was hard. I was panting and I was sweating and it was hard. But I was like, I'm gonna keep going. So I actually ran a 5K, which I believe to be the first 5K since, well, summer before last, or at least since since I got sick last, or the fall before last. And that's pretty cool. I'm pretty pleased with myself. It was not a time that I would ever brag about. It was, and again, what's going on? Can you hear that noise? I don't know what's going on. Anyway. What was I saying? The time. It always depends on, you know, who you are, what shape you are in, and so on. But, and I'm pleased with making it at all, but it was not a good time, which is fine. Completely fine. So that was my Wednesday, and then yesterday I was picking those flowers. I went for a walk, and then we had choir rehearsal, and we worked on some... What's the word? Choreography? What's the word? You know what I mean though, right? Like steps to sing. It wasn't really dancing because we are singing, and it's not really, you know, glee club action going on, but a little something. So that was a little bit of an unusual choir rehearsal, and I had so much fun. And yeah, I'm a little bit afraid of jinxing it. On the one hand, on the other hand, I don't really believe in jinxing, but I'm feeling inner energy. Not in like a new age holistic sense, but I'm feeling energetic in a way that I haven't done for a while, and in spite of fear of jinx, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't want to jinx it, but I think I might have, what do you say? I've rounded a corner, I think, and that feels good. It feels so good. So fingers crossed that it's actually, you know, good. I was a little bit concerned, or I was quite concerned actually, on Wednesday evening after my run, because when you are pressuring yourself, which this was for me, that always, it does hurt a little bit in your body. You're not supposed to, you know, be in pain, but it feels different in your body, and it does, and it did, and that's okay, because when you are, you know, reaching your, or getting close to your maximum, that happens. But I was a bit, as I said, concerned that maybe I had, what do you say, raised the bar, you know, too much, and that it would come back to bite me. But I don't think it has. Fingers crossed. Because I'm feeling pretty good. I was very, very tired. I slept for like 10.5 hours tonight. So sure, I need some R&R, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it started off as a very, very stressful week, but then my energy sort of caught up and that feels so good. Yep. So that's my week. I also just want to mention, because I don't think I mentioned it last week, that my mom, since I've talked a little bit about her surgery, she's doing real good. When I saw her last, I think it was last weekend. Yeah, it was on Sunday. Was it on Sunday? Yes, it was on Sunday. She mentioned that because she has been on pretty strong painkillers, and so she had stopped taking them, because you're supposed to do that after a while. And it had started off going real good, but then she was in kind of a lot of pain, and so she took some other painkillers as she was supposed to, and they didn't really help, so she was in a little bit too much pain at that point. But she was going so that was on Sunday, and on Monday she was going to physiotherapy, as she's been doing during all this. But so she said she would talk to the therapist, that's not it, anyway, about what she's to do, because she's not supposed to be in pain, you know. And yeah, so she's doing good. Of course, it's a transition getting off the painkillers and dealing with that section of healing, but she's doing good. She does not have her full range of motion. She's not back to where she was before surgery, but she's getting there. She does her exercises and movements. What's going on? There are things going on everywhere. Sorry. She's doing good. That's the main point of this. So yeah, knitting. I have a haul. As you might have guessed, since this looks pretty small, and you might have picked up on me doing twined knitting and not regular knitting, I finished the first mitten. I haven't woven in the ends, as you might be able to tell. And again, this progress keeper is not where I was last week. It is where I started the thumb gusset, so that I can measure the next one to it. So it's not a progress keeper, but it is a, I don't know. So I finished this first mitten. I didn't do a ribbing or any real edge, and neither am I doing it on the second one. And this is, I just braided the cast on ends, and it's going to stay there. The other ends are going to get woven in and snipped off. Yeah, it looks pretty narrow, but it fits me comfortably, and it will block out a little bit. I was here-ish last week, so I started doing the decreases for the tip of the mitten, and I messed up. I did them because okay, so this is it's called a braided decrease. Does it focus? Yeah, it sort of looks like like a braid. Excuse me. And you do it by knitting two together. Okay, so I did this on DPNs. The way you do it is that you knit the two last together, and then that needle is empty, and you usually continue knitting with that, but you put it to the side for now, and you knit the next stitch, and then you pass the knit together stitch over, and that's a double decrease, and then you continue knitting around with the loose DPN. But since you're knitting, so you, instead of slipping two together as if to knit, and then knitting the next one and then pass slip stitches over, which is decreasing by the same amount, but then you're doing it on the same row, you know. But since you're knitting two together first and then knitting next stitch and then pulling that knit stitch over, you are sort of doing two, well, not two rows, but you are, I don't know how well it shows up, but that makes the braid go both directions, if you, I don't know if that makes any sense, but it works pretty cool anyway. And for some reason I thought it would be okay doing it, instead of doing that decrease over the, well, over the join, if you will, I thought it would work up doing it over the 3 last stitches on the needle, which then means the first stitch, okay, doing it this way, you're always decreasing the next stitch in line, right? But if you do it on the last 3 stitches on one needle, the next stitch will never be decreased, so that will be a straight line. So that makes for a uneven shape. And I realized that after a while. And also that I had started the decreases too soon, so I had to rip, which I hesitated to do, because I've never ripped in twine knitting before, so I was hesitant. But then I just did it, and it wasn't hard. I picked the stitches back up with a smaller size needle, as I would have done with regular knitting as well, and it worked out just fine. There was nothing to be worried about at all. And then I knit a few more rows straight before I started the decreasing, and then I did the decreases in the right way. So you can see, because I decreased all the way up. You can stop a bit earlier and Kitchener it or graft it close, but I did it all the way up. So it's pretty pointy right now. I will block it out to be, well, it just looks weird when I do this, but it will be a little less pointy when I block it out. So I did that, and I picked up the stitches for the thumb and knit that up, and then I did the same decreases on the thumb. Doesn't really show up, but I did anyway. So I finished the first mitten, and I cast on and started the second one. And I almost need to double this in length before I start doing the thumb gusset. So yeah, it is quite slow, as I've said. So when I finished this, I weighed it, and I weighed the remaining yarn, and it is on the gram the same amount left. So in theory I should be fine, but that makes me a bit anxious to have, not really have any wiggle room. Yeah, because I don't have anything else in this. So this is an undyed natural wool. And I don't have anything else in this, so if I need to do like the tip of the thumb in something else, that will be visible. So hopefully I won't have to do that, but that's yet to see. And some tea. I'm drinking Yogi Tea's licorice tea, which tastes of licorice, and it's so yummy. So that's my half-finished object, and now on to whips then, obviously. And I don't have anything new to show you this week. I am working on the Linus shawl, and I believe I've answered There were 2 ladies having asked for what pattern it was in the comments on YouTube, and I've answered you, and I've added in a link to the Ravelry pattern or project page, or pattern page, sorry. And hopefully I didn't miss anything. And if I did, please let me know so I can, yeah. Okay, so You probably know that I don't really do, or I don't at all do any show notes. So if you wonder about a pattern or anything, just ask and I'll find you links, or, you know, those sort of things that usually are put in the show notes. I will definitely provide that if you want to find something. So don't hesitate to do that. And I'm always hoping, so today it is very overcast and it has been raining, so I'm always hoping, you know, that, oh, maybe today's weather will make this yarn show up really good. It doesn't. It looks really, really awful on my screen. I've worked so much on this since last, and again the rows are getting longer and this needle is not long enough to stretch it out. I've started the third ball of this wool. Oh, it looks really awful. I love it in real life. It's so saturated and there are shifting colors. Well, you can see that it is shifting, but it looks awful. And now I look completely blown out. Yeah. So I've started the third ball and I'm going to knit this up. The outside of this is pretty pale, but it'll be nice. That is worked on 3.5mm needles. You can really do this pattern with any yarn, any size needle, and just continue for as long as you want it. It's a boomerang shaped shawl, I believe it's called. And again, it's Linus. Linus, I guess you would say in English, but since I'm Swedish, I'm gonna say Linus, which is a boy's name. If it's not where you live, over here at least it is a boy's name. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and you can just knit it for as long as you live. The yarn I'm using is Pernille fine wool yarn. 50 grams per ball, which is about 200 meters, and I had originally 3 balls. So, and then I have my oh no, this happened. I'll have to sort it out. I have this top-down tee, airy, no pattern thing. I think I've sort of doubled it, or was that an earthquake? Sorry. I think I might have a little more than doubled it since last. So I did rip it out before last time I talked about that. But now it seems to be really good. I'm doing raglan increases with so my usual method of doing raglan increases is doing make one left, make one right, or is it the other way around? Well, anyway, so that it just really blends in, if you will. But with this I'm doing yarn over, and then on the next row I am knitting into the yarn over without, because you can twist it to make it tighter, but I'm just knitting into it so it makes these sort of eyelets, because yeah, I think it will look nice, because this is going to be sort of breezy anyway. So it's coming along. There are so many weird sounds today. I don't think the camera or the microphone is picking them up, but it distracts me. So I have 3 balls of this, and this is still the first. And I'll just reach over for the ball band. This is Semilla Extra Fino from BC Garn. It's 100% organic wool, 50 grams per ball, and that is about 300 meters. And this is a Danish company. You can visit www.bcgarn, that is yarn but with a G, which is yarn in Swedish and obviously also in Danish. So bcgarn.com. I don't know if you can see it because this the ball band, all three, this is the, of all the three, this is the ball band that was in best shape. I don't know if they've been exposed to sun or something, but as I've mentioned before, the yarn looks completely fine. It's not that it's been, you know, sun bleached and no. And that's all the knitting that I have. My chair is spinning this way. I think my floor is a little bit uneven. I don't notice it unless I'm on this spinning chair with my feet in the chair as well. So a friend of mine was in New York last week, and I don't know him very well, but we talk a little, and yeah. So we chatted on like the Facebook chat or something. And so I just asked, you know, sort of, haha, have you found any yarn stores yet? That must be like, you know, the #1 priority. And he was like, no, I can go to a yarn store tomorrow if you want to. And I was like, yeah. So he did. And I will probably meet him tomorrow at a little gathering thing. And I am almost a bit nervous. You know, as like sort of the same nervous as you can be if you're meeting someone who you're very excited to meet. In the way that you get a little bit nervous. I'm sort of that sort. I am pretty much that sort of nervous about meeting my new yarns that I didn't pick up myself. So he had searched for yarn stores in the area where he was, around Penn Station. Excuse me. And he found the Lion brand store. And I was sort of... I do not wish to step on anybody's toes right now. I use acrylic yarns. Sometimes. There is definitely... a place for acrylic yarn. Absolutely. I personally do not really enjoy working with acrylic yarns. So I was sort of trying to find if there were any other yarn stores in the area, and I couldn't really anyway, so he said, well, I'm going tomorrow anyway. So I was like, yeah, I'm thankful anyway. So then I told him that, well, because he asked, what do you want? And I was like, well, it depends on. So he's, and if you're watching this, please forgive me for saying this, but I think you will agree, he's a complete yarn newbie. So I tried to say that, well, maybe like a fingering, a sock, DK Sport, weight, somewhere, maybe not, you know, super chunky, or yeah, and a little bit like that. And so and not too much acrylic content, but mostly wool content. And then I talked a little bit about, well, many of the thinner yarns have a nylon or polyamide content to be durable. Is that the word? You know what I mean. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, 100% wool. And I was like, yeah, I'll see what I can find. So he had been to the Lion brand store, which I am sure is a lovely store. I've never been there. But then he messaged me saying, okay, so I went to this store, I didn't find anything, so I'm going to another store. Because he hadn't found anything with over... What did he say, like 15% wool content, I think? And again, I mean, I know there are people out there loving acrylic, and that's fine. And I know that there is a little bit of acrylic hate going on, and I do not want to add to that, because I honestly believe that acrylic has its place. But that was not exactly what I was longing for. So, I don't know what he found. He sent a picture like where he had, you know, just dumped the content of a bag on the hotel bed, and I couldn't really see anything on that, so I don't know. I'm a bit nervous because it will probably be awesome. I guess. I don't know. But that is definitely coming up in acquisition stash enhancements. Enhancements? Good one. But I don't have it yet, so... yeah. And my chair is spinning again. I don't really have anything else to say this week around. Or do I? There is no more knitting or fibery or yarny content. But I know I was thinking about something else, like... I was thinking I wanted to mention that Mom is doing good, and I mentioned that. I wanted to mention that I am doing pretty good, and I've mentioned that. Yeah, I don't know. It probably wasn't all that important, and if it was, I'll let you know. Okay, so just a little thing. Yes. So yesterday at choir rehearsal, we took, excuse me, one of the ladies in the choir took a little film clip, recorded us when we did sort of the choreograph steps. Choreograph? A graph of Korea? No, you know what I mean. So that we can remember it. And it is up on YouTube. I believe it is, you know, a closed... I don't think you can find it if you search for it. Because it's not like... I mean, it's just like an internal document for practice. But I'll post the link just down there if you want to see it. So the song we are singing is Ubi Caritas by Ola Giello? What's his last name? I believe he's Norwegian. Giello? It's spelled like that if you want to find it. Like a proper recording. Ubi Caritas by Ola. Our singing isn't the best in this clip because we were sort of focusing on getting the steps right, and then we were supposed to know it by heart. Some of us didn't, but some did, and some, you know, almost did. So this is definitely a rehearsal, practice, work in progress clip. So it's not in its fanciest state, but and absolutely don't feel pressured to watch. It's just if you want to. I'll post it because I'm so excited. Yeah, that's it. Please do take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves and to one another. And I will talk to you next time.